Dance Macabre. Or Macabre. Abracadabra. Steve Miller. Illuminati confirmed. I've done videos about this for the singles already. And I talked a lot about the album and how a lot of the weirdness surrounding it and the point of it and all this other stuff. So I'm not going to get too into that. But yeah, I got it when it dropped the other day. Only a couple days before Halloween, which seems kind of weird because why not release it like a month out? Because the way people's minds work generally is when they have like a holiday type thing or any kind of date that's of significance. Once it's passed, anything that has to do with it, even in a tertiary way, they kind of box up. So once Halloween's over, I feel like it cuts off the legs of this thing to some extent, at least in like the minds of normies, you know. But whatever. Hey, I think I went into that too much already. I like it. I like the idea that they did something creative for kind of like what is essentially a stopgap release, meaning something to keep their hand in the game between albums, you know. A lot of bands will do like a live album or a greatest hits or whatever, some kind of compilation. This is an interesting way to do that, and what it does is it's like a critical palate cleanser, whereas the next one they release, it has, like the next original one they do, there'll be a little bit of distance there because you can't compare this album one-to-one to Future Past because it's a different proposition completely. It's a special kind of album, and I guess they made it really fast, and everybody's performances on it are really good. Simon sounds great, you know, he always does, but going through it, starts off with Night Boat. It doesn't hold a candle to the original. The original's great. It's got this, the original has this kind of weird, manic paranoia in Simon's vocal, and the music is just better. And but this is cool. I think it sets the mood good. It's a more, I guess, mature version of the song. Simon's delivery is less jittery and paranoid, and more like sure of himself. He's like inviting you into something. So I think in that way, it's a good opening track. But as I'm listening through it, I'm like, he's not gonna do the whoa whoa thing. It's disappointing. And then right the last time the last chorus comes around, he gives us one. He gives us one whoa whoa, and I was happy about that. But it's cool. It's a good way to start things off. And that goes right into Black Moonlight, which we talked about before, which I like a lot. I like the guitar parts. Andy and Niall Rogers are both on it playing guitar, and I'm not really sure who does what, because that guitar part sounds a lot like Niall, or it sounds like one he would come up with. Has a very 80s feel to it, but it could have been Andy doing those parts. I don't know. I can't tell who's doing what there, but I like that. I like the track. It's good. I actually, for a change, I brought a list with me of the songs so I could go through them. And let me fish that thing out of my back pocket. That's not it. That's money. Did I not bring it? I did. I brought it. All right. Good. All right. We got handwriting. Yeah, track 3, we're going to Love Voodoo, which is a rework of a song from the Wedding album, which I always thought was a cool track, but it wasn't one that I was really into. It was kind of a skipper for me on the Wedding album. And, you know, I think this one's better. I like the way they did the backing vocals on this. It just sounds like, it's a little bit like Night Boat. It's just like a more, I don't want to use the word sophisticated, But I think, where in the case of Night Boat, I like the original more. I think this one's actually better than the original Love Voodoo. Just for the fact that it's like, I didn't skip through it like I do with the original one. It's cool. It fits the theme, you know. They're looking for lyrical ideas or song ideas that fit in with the Halloween thing. So it works. It's cool. Which brings us to Bury a Friend. I had no knowledge of the original. I don't know what it's supposed to sound like. But yeah, it's alright. So far, we're just like Black Moonlight's the best thing. And these other 3 tracks, they're cool, they're alright. They're well recorded. The production on this is awesome. It sounds really good. And JT sounds great. They all do. I expect them to, though, usually. I was reading a review of this, and one of the reviewers, I forget what it was, but it might have been Rolling Stone. They're like, yeah, you know, even though this is kind of like not a cast-off album, but kind of like a side thing, it seems like they really care about what they're doing. And they do. They've always taken, they don't take themselves super seriously, but they've always taken their art seriously. They don't phone it in. They never really have. They've always committed to their idea, regardless of, you know, whether it was the right thing to do at the time for them. You know, thinking of Thank You as an example, which I liked at the time. I thought it was cool. I thought they'd change up the songs enough so that they almost sounded like originals. And they do that here to some extent with some of the other songs we're going to run into. Let me just, look at this. That's the problem. They give you these paper bags and they fall apart. Look what I have going on here. Alright, hang on a second. Very sorry, very sorry. Alright. Very professional operation here. So we lead into Supernature. Supernature, I don't know what this is. I know it's a cover of like a 70s kind of disco song. Again, it's cool. It's weird, this whole album, it's like, as I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, this is cool, I like this. But when it's over, there's very few pieces that make me want to come back to it. Or that I really even have an easy time remembering as far as like what sticks out about the songs, because I'm drawing a blank on this one right now. And I've listened to this thing like in full maybe 5 times, the whole album. But yeah, let me just get past these people. No, look at my little handwritten notes again. A lot of people don't see me. That's the problem. Like, they'll just keep going and going. Like, they'll walk right into me. Robot problems. Okay. I read the next 2, so we don't have to go through all this every time I want to talk about another song. Dance Macabre, the title track. I've already talked about this. I like it a lot more than when I first heard it. And when I first did a review of it, I was kind of coming down on Charlie for rapping. That seems to be a common thing with people in the reviews I've read. Everyone kind of mentions that, like, you know, maybe he shouldn't have been rapping, but, you know, whatever. It's fun. It's not as egregious to me as it was when I first heard it. I'm coming around to it. I like the chorus. And then we got Secret October 31st. Secret October was an interesting song because it's something they did after they were done recording Seven of the Ragged Tiger. It was just Nick and Simon just kind of fucking around the studio. And that's how they came up with Secret October. That song is, it's great. I've always loved that. It's just weird. Like haunting, kind of. Speaking of haunting, look at that moon. And get past these trees, let's take a look at it. Yeah, I love Secret October. And, this version's great. You can't even see the fucking moon. I'm looking at it right now, it's huge. But, it doesn't even show up on the fucking screen. We've had those kind of things happen before. Not going to spiral about it. It is what it is. But yeah, this version of Secret October sounds like the completed thing. Like the original, and I'm still breathing crazy because I'm getting over my cold. The original felt like a demo, because it kind of was. It was just them two in the studio. So this feels like taking the track to the logical, end point of it. It's more produced. It sounds great. I think it's objectively better than the original. However, there's that nostalgia thing. So the sort of quaint, like, demo-y nature of the original, I'll always enjoy probably more. But I think this is a better version of the song. It's a more, they put more thought into it. There's more, people involved in it, more musicians involved, and the whole band's in it, So this is great, and it's probably so far my favorite thing on this. This is a good one. This is probably the best redone song on this whole thing, of their own songs that they redid. I like this the best. This is really cool. Next we have Ghost Town, which is the Specials cover. It's cool. It's cool. They did a good job on it. Again, like I said earlier, they never phone in anything. If they decide to do something, they do it and they get into it, and they always put their all into it. And in the case of this track, yeah, it's great. Great performances all around. There's just not much really to say about it. It's just a cover of the song. It's probably the least transformed cover song they've done. Usually, like, when they do a cover song, Thank You is a whole album of it. They don't stick too close to the original. They tend to recreate something or try to do their own version. This is probably the most like the original, to my ears anyway. Some Specials fans may disagree with whatever. Small minority, I'm not worried about it. Painted Black is awesome. Painted Black is probably my one of my favorite songs on this album. It just sounds great. And I groaned when I first saw it on the track list. I'm like, really? Fucking Painted Black again? Somebody else is gonna do this? It's like, just... But then I heard it, and I love it. It sounds great. Did a good job on that. Super Lonely Freak is a weird one. It's Lonely in My Nightmare, which is a song from Rio, mixed with Super Freak from James Brown. Who thought of this? I don't know, but it's a very random thing. Like, to put those two things together is really strange, and I don't know if the transition works all that well, but it's kind of cool. I give it points for trying something weird. And Lonely in My Nightmare sounds so good. When I first heard the song come on, I'm like, wait a minute, I know this. It sounds awesome. Yeah, that's another updated song of theirs that sounds, well, the first half before they go into Super Freak, sounds so good. Man, those early songs are great. And their greatness is evidenced here by the fact that they can come back to them so far in the future and they still hold up, Then we got Susie and the Banshees, Spellbound. Again, this falls into the category of, all the other covers. They're cool, well done, well produced, everybody performs well. Not much to say about it. Psycho Killer, this is one of the better covers on the album. It sounds probably the most different. They did the most stuff with this. And it's cool. The thing is, though, still, I don't need to hear it. It's cool, but that's the problem with a lot of this album. Like, yeah, well, it sounds good. This is cool. It's really well done, but I don't know how often I'm going to reach for this one. Then we finish with maybe the best song on it, Confessions in the Afterlife. I've seen people praising this song online a lot. I don't think it's as great as I see some people talking about, but it's good. It's like the sort of ballady type one. Like every album since the Wedding album, there's like not a copy of Ordinary World, but they have to have that kind of epic ballad. Sun Doesn't Shine Forever, What Are the Chances, you know, down the list. This is like one of those. Great melody. Simon sounds amazing. Reminds me of something from Arcadia. In fact, there's a lot of points on this album where different parts or little production things they do that remind me of Arcadia. Just the whole dark, sort of more goth nature of the thing. So yeah, and then that's it. So this, I think it's great. It's cool. Again, like I said, I don't know how often I'd reach for it. In fact, you know, once the Halloween is over, I don't know how many other people would reach for it either, but it's really cool that they did something creative. This whole idea is cool, I think. I would have put the album out a little bit sooner than 4 days before Halloween if I want to capitalize on it, but whatever. It's not the album I thought we were getting. Originally, I thought that, you know, it was talked about as a Andy Taylor sort of reunion type album. Gonna record 2 new songs with him and a bunch of covers. I originally thought it was going to be, you know, covers they jointly liked, used to do. I went over all this stuff in other videos about this album, so I'm not gonna, you know, belabor the point. But yeah, it's success. You know what I mean? It's good. I think people like it. It's getting all good reviews. It's hard because it's a weird situation. You know, it's not a new studio album, but it is new recordings. But yeah, I'm gonna give it. If I want to do a number thing, I'm gonna go with like everybody else and just say a 7 out of 10. Because I really like to go with everybody else. I like to ride that. I like to get on the fence in the middle of the road and just ride that line. You know, that's where I'm most comfortable. But yeah, it's cool. There's not much to say about it. I mean, that's it. You know, you can't really get too into talking about the intricacies of these things because they're, you know, they're covers and updates, and you know, it is what it is. Success, yeah, it's good. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Yeah, really not much to say about it. But yeah, let me know what you think. I don't know. I like it. It's good. It's one of those things where I'm listening to it and I like it, but I just don't know how often I'd reach for it. I do like the original songs. Black Moonlight's cool, and Confession from the Afterlife as well. But yeah, looking forward to where they go from here. The next full studio original album Nick was talking about, or someone was it Nick or Roger? Oh, talking about how they want to just keep going and try to release more material and not have so much time in between. That sounds good to me. So hopefully we get some good stuff on the horizon. Till then, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.